What if the Monstars were real? Whose talent would they steal today? Hear me out. Yes, I'm talking about the team made up of cartoon aliens sent by Danny DeVito to take on Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes, and their goal was to take all of the best players' powers. What if they were real, existed today, and Danny sent them down to take the talent of the best in the current NBA? Who would they target in order to build the best team of the 24-25 season? Well, in this video, we'll let you guys know. We're in the era of basketball where players have evolved to the point that the best point guards aren't always point guards. Nikola Jokic leads the league in assists per game, averaging almost 12 every time he steps out on the court. The last two players to finish the season with those numbers were Rajon Rondo and Steve Nash, two of the best pure point guards in modern history. Behind him are Trae Young, a traditional point guard in stature only, LeBron James, arguably the greatest point guard to not really play point guard in his career, James Harden, who I consider the fully formed version of Trae, and of course the guy in Detroit, Cade Cunningham, a 6'6" do-it-all guard coming into his own this season. I also wanted to shout out some other guys, with Shai being one of them for this section. He won't be our pick for point guard, but he will be mentioned coming up in this video. And then of course there's De'Aaron Fox, who has looked amazing in these past couple games. I saw a crazy stat that over a 2-game stretch, Fox had scored 109 points, which is the same amount that Draymond Green scored all year. Yeah, it's safe to say that Draymond is past his prime. And before we get to our two best candidates, even though he hasn't been the best this year, Jalen Brunson still deserves a mention. So if I'm gonna pick the best point guard for a 24-25 season, I gotta look at everybody. But the two guys that I came up with are Luka Doncic and Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's numbers right now are 23, 6, and 5, while Luka's are 28, 7, and 7. Both are the engine that makes their team go, and both have led their team to the finals. And at the end of the day, both are generational talents from different generations. If this were a who you're starting your roster with conversation accounting for age, you're probably going to lead towards Luka's talent. But if we're talking about this season, even while he's missing a few games because of injury, Steph has the Warriors more than exceeding expectations. So if we're the Monstars, we're taking the talents of Stephen Curry as our point guard. Next, we got to look at who we're going to take for our shooting guard spot. There was a stretch the last decade or so where the shooting guard position had become a little watered down. But with the evolution of the league and the evolution of players, bigger sized small forwards with handle kinda took over that wing dominance. Stacking your teams with height and length kinda became the new meta. Even with all that said, I'm happy to announce that the two guard is finally back. Jalen Green, Tyrese Maxey, RJ Barrett, even Klay Thompson is showing flashes of old Klay. But if I'm running the Monstars and building the best team of this season, I'm zeroing in on three guys: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, and Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell's Cavs shocked everyone with a 15-0 start to the season. And of course this was led by Donovan's 25 points a game after getting his bag in the offseason. Shai has the Thunder in the 2 slot while racking up almost 29 points a game on 50% shooting. And then you take a look at Edwards Wolves, who appear to have taken a step back after last season's conference championship run, but he's still giving you 28 a game while continuing to turn in highlight after highlight. Since we've already picked the talents of Steph, Shai is probably going to be the pick here. Not only can Shai run the offense at times so Steph can play off the ball, but he's actually a really solid defender. He's averaging almost 2 steals per game, a block, and 5 boards. He's got the length and quickness to balance out Curry, and he's only getting better. So far we have Stephen Curry and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. When we get to our small forwards, stuff starts to get good, so let's look at some of our contenders. Jason Tatum is coming off of his first championship, but he became the most disrespected superstar in the league this offseason, while LeBron James is redefining what age truly is. The Celtics are number 2 in the East, while the Lakers are top 5, which wasn't expected. Tatum has a finals MVP caliber teammate in Jaylen Brown, while LeBron has an MVP caliber teammate in Anthony Davis. So when you look at each one of these guys individually, we can find out who we should choose. LeBron is having what would be a career year for 95% of the league at age 39. It's kinda nuts to think about because he's literally averaging a near triple-double right now, and he's 3rd in the league in assists. But then of course you gotta look at Tatum. Tatum is basically the East Coast version of LeBron, but he's giving you a little more on the defensive side of the ball at this point in his career, and he's only 26. We're gonna end up going with Tatum because he's having one of those rare seasons where he looks like he's got something to prove. And honestly, the Celtics are still the favorite to win the championship this year. So for our small forward, we're gonna lock in Jason Tatum, but shout out to LeBron James. Now we gotta look at our power forward. We could honestly take a team of 5 power forwards right now, and that would probably be the best team in the league. Because honestly, power forwards in today's league is kind of like aliens. Their combination of size and skill is unlike anything we've ever seen in basketball. Even though he's been hurt, we have to shout out Paolo Banchero, who had a great start to the year, dropping 50 points for his career high and doing everything for the Orlando Magic. And before we look at the other guys, leave a comment and let us know if Banchero's a top 5 young player in the league. Another guy that we have to talk about, even though he hasn't been off the charts, is Julius Randle, because he's been really solid in his new role, and he hit a crazy game winner for the Timberwolves so far, but we have to break it down to two guys we can pick for this section, and they are Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is dribbling once and covering the length of the court. Honestly, every time he does it, it looks like it's illegal, but it's allowed in basketball, so we gotta let it happen. But the Bucks haven't been the Bucks quite yet. They're losing a lot of winnable games, but the Greek Freak is still averaging 31 points and 12 rebounds a night. Now we gotta look at the other side of things. Much like LeBron, Kevin Durant is having a turn back the clock kind of season. He's leading the surging Suns to a bounce back season while averaging 27 points a game while shooting 55% from the field and 43% from three. Even though he's been missing some games so far this season, Phoenix was literally 8-1 when he played, and he still gives you everything on the court from 3-level scoring to solid defense. So sorry Giannis, but for our team we're gonna take Kevin Durant still. Keep in mind this is based on this season only. Much like the 2-guard spot, there's been a center resurgence as of late. This year you've got standouts like Domantas Sabonis, an all-star and honestly a poor man's Joker, averaging 20, 12, and 6. And then of course there's Jarrett Allen, whose defensive prowess has helped lead the Cavs to the best start in basketball. And don't forget about Cat, because he's averaging 26 points and 12 rebounds his first year in MSG. And let's be honest, if we're picking this based on pure talent, there's no better Monstars fit than Wemby. He's averaging 22 points, 10 rebounds a game, almost 4 blocks, and a steal. But if you have a 24-25 MVP ladder, your top two right now are Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis. Davis is averaging 30 points, 11 rebounds, almost 3 assists, almost 2 blocks, and throwing a steal for the surprising Lakers renaissance. While the Joker is averaging another triple-double at 30 points, 13 rebounds, and almost 12 assists. So do the Monstars round out their starting lineup with the defense in mind, seeing as though they've got plenty of scoring, or do they just take the best player? For our starting five, we're definitely just going to take the best player, and that's Nikola Jokic. He's doing everything and you can't deny what he's done this season. Now it's time to look at our reserves and look at our bench. You can totally do the thing where you pick the next 3 to 5 best players in the league, pluck them on the bench and call it a day, kind of like Team USA. But we're trying to build the best roster here, so we're sticking to our guns and picking actual bench players. For a scoring pop, Buddy Hield has been lights out for the surprising Warriors. While he doesn't give you what Clay gave you in that role, he's averaging almost 16 points a game off the bench while shooting 46% from 3. To keep the offense going, let's plug Peyton Pritchard. Aside from alliteration, Pritchard can run the offense and put the ball in the basket. He's been a key part of the Celtics title team, and he's averaging 15 points off the bench. For an all-around game, DeAndre Hunter rounds out our rotation. He's averaging 20 a game and creates havoc for the height and length focused Hawks. Plus, they're all better than Sean Bradley and Muggsy Bogues, original targets of the Monstars. So for our bench, we got Buddy Hield, Peyton Pritchard, and DeAndre Hunter. Now it's time for us to pick the leader of this squad and the guy who's drawing up the plays, which is our head coach. What we're really doing here is building the best roster for this season, and we need a coach to help keep that team on the right path. Our candidates are Kenny Atkinson of the Cavs, Joe Mazzulla of the reigning champions, Coach Bud, who's now in Phoenix, and the legendary Steve Kerr. And don't think I forgot Eric Spoelstra, because he's always good. If we're gonna go based on this season, which is the whole point, we have to go with Kenny Atkinson. Before he was ousted in Brooklyn a few years ago by the incoming KD and Kyrie train wreck, Atkinson was gaining momentum as one of the top coaches in the game. And now he's got Cleveland playing the best basketball the city's seen since LeBron James was there. He's unlocked Donovan Mitchell and turned him into an MVP candidate. He's transformed Darius Garland into one of the best combo guards in the league. He's deployed defensive weapons Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley to destroy opposing offenses, and he's made the Cavs watchable again. So that's pretty cool. So there you have it. There's the best lineup in 2024-2025. Let's review it real quick. At the point guard, we have Stephen Curry. At the shooting guard, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. At our small forward spot, we got Jason Tatum over LeBron James, and at our power forward spot, we have Kevin Durant over Giannis Antetokounmpo. At our center, of course, we have the best player in the league, Nikola Jokic, and then for our bench, we have Buddy Hield, Peyton Pritchard, and DeAndre Hunter. And the leader of this team is nobody other than Kenny Atkinson. Now, a team of Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Giannis, and Anthony Davis, coached by Steve Kerr, would probably get the job done. But right now, this is the team that's making the most waves in the league. By the end of the year, you might be hard-pressed to leave off Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren after he returns from injury, and you might even see a surge from the Jalen Brunsons and Jalen Browns of the world. And that's the best part about watching the NBA in its current iteration. The talent pool is so deep that you can't really go wrong in these hypothetical team building exercises. So if alien Danny DeVito is watching this from Space Jam, here are the players we think you should take. But please don't take them because we like watching them and need them for the league. Instead, go get Patrick Beverley from overseas. Okay, all joking aside, leave a comment down below if you agree with our best of 2024-2025, and make sure to let us know who we missed out on. As always, click on the screen for more basketball content.